This is a piece of art that I made entirely out of Legos, and it's time to update it. It's literally out of date, and that's because it's a very basic, though usually very accurate timepiece that tells the year we're in. And right now, we are 4 days into 2024. I know, this probably doesn't seem very helpful as a timepiece. People usually know what year they're in when they're in it. But I really like this as a kind of diegetic timestamp for the future when it shows up in photos and videos. Without it, all we'll have is hairstyles and eyewear to tip us off to what year we were in, or our memory of when certain friends were in and out of our life. Something like this adds a really clear layer to the archaeology of memory. And now, finally, we can begin. And by now, I mean tomorrow. It is way too late right now. This all started 2 years ago. Livy and I weren't going to do the whole go home to hang with family thing over the holidays, and instead we're staying here in Denver. Our friend Norton was also sticking around for Christmas, and we decided that we would celebrate by buying ourselves our own presents, wrapping them up, and opening them on Christmas morning. I wanted to play with Legos. Actually, it's Lego. Shut up. The thing is that most Lego sets that I would want to build are pretty huge, and we don't have a lot of space. But then I remembered the existence of these Lego art sets and decided to buy the Lego World Map, which at the time that I bought it, and still, is the largest Lego set by piece count at 11,695 pieces. We definitely had space on our walls, but I was in no need of a low resolution map, so I decided I would build something else. But I couldn't just start building because there's a limited number of pieces of each color. I would need to plan this somehow. And to do that successfully, I would need to keep track of how many pieces of each color I had used while drawing. And there's understandably not a single pixel drawing app that cares about how many pixels of each color you've used, so I made my own. I'm not a programmer, but Livy is, and Norton basically also is, so I got them to point me in the right direction. Using a visual programming language called P5.js and a lot of Googling, I figured out how to make a very basic Lego drawing program for this specific Lego set. It keeps track of the piece count and has some very basic tools like undo and redo and some hacked together way of saving things. With that figured out, I designed an illustration, exported instructions, and on Christmas Day, with Livy and Norton's help, we built it, with the whole piece taking about 10 hours. After all that, we finally arrived at the first piece in 2022. I like designing type, and inspired by Ed Rushka's blending of typography and landscape art, I placed the number 22 in a snowy mountain scene, a sort of wish for what the year might bring in our new home state. And since it's made out of Lego, it seemed like it would be nice to rebuild it every year. For 2023's artwork, a clear thing on my mind was a family reunion that was planned with my dad's side of the family in Mexico. The numbers were designed with a nod to colorful sign painting styles, with a landscape placed inside. This year, I didn't do a landscape. Instead, I went with a reference to the very big, overarching thing that will organize and force function a lot of this year. There. Now we can tell what year we're in.